Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, I got a pretty serious topic for you. And the topic is the number one goal of ESPN to destroy the image of black athletes. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community, place you can talk about basketball, chat live during games. We have that linked in the comment section. And also make sure you go ahead and click the join button to become a member of the channel. So this is a pretty serious topic for me. But before I get into that, we recently did a video discussing some comments that Kyle Kuzma had to say about LeBron James as it related to Kobe Bryant. And I made an error when I said that Kyle Kuzma played with Kobe. In fact, when he got drafted in 2016, and Kobe retired in he got drafted in 2017, and Kobe retired in 2016. But I know he had been there for a long period of time. And people, some people, oh, this guy, he's been exposed and blah 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 blah. Let's cancel him. Let's get rid of him. I think it's pretty funny that a lot of guys want to sit out there and do that. When I sat there and did like an hour live on free agency and all these different stuff, 900 videos, you got some people out there want to say, let's just get him done. Well, I guess you must be perfect in your life and in your job. You never make a mistake. So I think you can sit on a high horse and go around the internet and start criticizing people when they make a mistake. I think it's a joke. I think it's funny. And I just had to comment on it. So nice try, but you're going to have to try a little bit harder. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So I've been a fan of ESPN for quite some time, right? Because since I started following basketball around the year 2000, you know, when you turn on TV at that time, you're watching ESPN usually. That's when, you know, you started following those TV shows. And I liked some of the personalities that they had on TV. I thought that they had some very classic debates over the years, very entertaining debates, especially with Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, Jalen Rose, and others, Tim Legler, and these guys. They've had some pretty classic debates over the years, right? About a plethora of topics: Tim Tebow, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, so many different things, right? And they entertained me for a while. However, since getting into the business about 2 years ago, so when we started talking about sports, especially basketball, when we got into sports, sports media, I noticed something very alarming as of recent, right? I noticed that ESPN seems to view a lot of their athletes, especially their male athletes, as a conduit to make billions of dollars. I'm beginning to get this feeling that they view these, they use these athletes only to make money. And at their core, they don't really care about these people or their image. As long as they can benefit off of them, that's all that matters. I've noticed that at times they elevate certain players, and at other times they trash other players, especially male black athletes, especially males, for whatever reason. 2 years ago, Kawhi Leonard was a member of the Toronto Raptors. He was playing with the Toronto Raptors. He had gone to that organization. He was formerly a Spur. He was playing with them, and he went on his run in the playoffs. It was sensational. It was fun to watch, and he ultimately won a championship. At that time in sports, especially in basketball, it was like Kawhi Leonard was the best thing since sliced bread. Everybody loved Kawhi Leonard. Everybody exalted him. At every turn, they would be praising him. Even when he went to the Los Angeles Clippers, when he decided to go play with the Clippers and bring Paul George along with him to go play with the Clippers, he was praised heavily all throughout the regular season. Everybody loved him. All of the main analysts, the big analysts that you can think of, the majority of them picked the Clippers to win, with the exception of probably Shannon Sharp and Nick Wright. But everybody else picked them. Everybody else picked them, right? While that was happening, they were busy tearing down LeBron, right? They were busy tearing down LeBron. Now remember, LeBron James is the face of the NBA, undoubtedly. He's been the face of the NBA, at least for the past 8 to 10 years, he's been the face of the NBA. Let's just be honest. Kobe Bryant got older and LeBron James became the face of the NBA. And they started tearing him down. And you started hearing LeBron James talk about wash King, wash King, wash King. And people were like, Where is he getting this sentiment from? Where is this washed king coming from? And I think that LeBron James was saying that because he felt as if that seemed to be the narrative out there. Keep in mind the keyword narrative. So while they were praising Kawhi, they were doubting LeBron. Then what happened? Kawhi Leonard went to the playoffs, and then they lost. And right there, you witnessed a 180. Kawhi Leonard went from being the new shiny toy, the new girl on the block, to now the Clippers are chokers. Kawhi Leonard has, he seems to be a sociopath. He doesn't look like he can talk. It doesn't look like he can communicate. He has some poor leadership skills. He's not very good. And then LeBron James, they elevated him back up again. Oh, LeBron James, is he the GOAT? Has he caught Michael Jordan? Will he be, will he be viewed as a GOAT? Is he on the Mount Rushmore? Where do you have him all time? And what I've noticed is this, is that they will say anything, including tarnishing black athletes' image, as long as it's making them billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're not talking about millions here. We're talking about billions. Whenever they need you, they elevate you. Whenever they don't need you and they need somebody else, but they still need a story, they'll elevate that person and put the other person that they were just elevating all this time, they'll put him down. As long as it creates a narrative and they're making billions of dollars off of it. Billions of dollars. And their two biggest tools, I believe, are Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins. I believe Kendrick Perkins is following in the footsteps of Stephen A. Smith. He's following in the footsteps, but Stephen A. Smith is definitely the king of this. You remember his comments about Shohei Ohtani. You remember his comments about the Nigerian players, making fun of them just to get a joke, right? Just to get a laugh out of some people. He says anything about anybody, saying Lamar Odom is on crack, saying whatever it takes as long as it gets ratings. Basically, translating as long as it makes money. I'll say whatever it takes, as long as it makes money. And if I have to tarnish a few careers and a few players' images on the way they're doing so be it. So be it. Now, some people say, but why aren't you focusing on Skip Bayless? Why? Because Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN. I'm not talking about Skip Bayless here. He's definitely a part of it. I want you guys to take a listen to Kendrick Perkins. I was listening to him recently talk about Kawhi Leonard. This happened about 2 days ago. About what type of person he is. Right? The type of human being he is. Before we go too far, I want you guys to take a listen to Kendrick Perkins talking about Kawhi Leonard on ESPN First Take. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Take a listen.
Kawhi Leonard is a guy that throws stones and hide his hand, all right? And when it comes down to it, we have been letting him off the hook for too long. We have been letting him off the hook for too long. And he's a guy that flies under the radar, that has been doing sneaky stuff, been getting catered to, and just because he's quiet, we don't address him. We looking at this situation with him and Russell Westbrook. This is supposed to be your homie. This is a confidential conversation. You don't use this conversation or ignore this brother phone call to go lure Paul George to come to the Clippers. By the way, when you get to the Clippers, the firing of Doc Rivers, everybody wanted to point the finger at Paul George, but Paul George wasn't the only one that had a saying in firing Doc Rivers. Kawhi Leonard was right there with him, but nobody wanted to blame Kawhi Leonard for what he was doing. And then to top it off, you look at this season alone, right? Kawhi Leonard gets hurt, he goes down. Most of the time when you see a guy go down and your team is in the heat of the battle and they're in the playoffs, they not in the suite, wiggling their toes, eating steak and shrimp. They down there on the bench, encouraging their teammates. They're in the trenches with their guys, giving pep talks, helping the young guys like Terrence Mann be down there in the trenches. So look, we heard about the helicopter rides to the practice facility and to the plane being held up and being late, not being able to take off on time because they was waiting on Kawhi Leonard. Let LeBron James do some stuff like that and watch how people go in the media and kill them. And I'm part of the problem because we should have been addressed this like the numbers on the house. Carry the hell on.
In that soundbite, Kendrick Perkins was calling Kawhi Leonard, his behavior selfish. He's the type of person that throws a rock and hides his hand. All of this because they felt like as if Kawhi Leonard did something wrong to Russell Westbrook. Essentially, they found the new person to tear down. Now the Lakers are up. Now it's LeBron and the Lakers. They're the shiny toy. They're the guys that we're gonna exalt and praise. But now we can talk down. We can put Kawhi Leonard down. But the alarming thing is, I want you guys to take a listen to Kendrick Perkins just 2 years ago, comparing the same Kawhi Leonard that he believed is selfish, that has some personality issues, all of these different things that's not being held accountable. It's the same Kendrick Perkins that was comparing him to Michael Jordan. So before I go too far, take a listen to Kendrick Perkins talking about Kawhi Leonard and comparing him to Michael Jordan.
This may sound crazy, but Kawhi Leonard reminds me of Michael Jordan. And I'm not saying, I'm not comparing him to Mike, but if you watch the way he plays, his style, the way he plays the game on both ends, he can have a game that mimics Michael Jordan. He's not all the way fancy. He gets to his spots. He got nice turnarounds, big hands, palm the ball, and on the defensive end, he's probably the best in the game, if not.
If you see these two sound bites, you would wonder, is this the same person? Is this the same person? If you notice, Kendrick Perkins, when he first started 2 years ago, he seemed to be a little bit more respectful. He seemed to be a little bit more composed. But he must have learned from Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith told him, listen, guy, if you want to get to the top of this thing, you need to be flamboyant. You need to be hella extra. And you need to start really trying to go at these players' characters. And the minute Kendrick Perkins kind of understood that, it's like a different person. It's like two different people right now. Two different people. And I think this is what makes them the big bucks. Tearing down male athletes. They have no problem doing that. No problem. I think this is a male issue. It's not a female issue, it's a male issue. Because what I noticed with the Simone Biles situation is that everyone, talking about the sports media, everyone put their arms around her in sports media. ESPN did, FS1 did. Everyone put their arms around her. I'm not talking about her decision. I'm talking about the way that she was guarded and protected. But for the male athletes, the black male athletes, they get no such consideration. None. These guys seem to be expendable. They seem to be expendable. And I think it's very, very, very sad. I think it's very sad that they only use them to make money. They don't really care about you. They really don't. Because one minute they're praising you, the next minute they're trashing you. And in some cases, it'll be the same people. And there's something that I'm noticing that I think is quite alarming. And I think is one of the reasons Kawhi Leonard doesn't give these guys the time of day. I think Kawhi Leonard has seen through it all. I think Kawhi knows that these guys are fake. I think he knows that. And I think is the reason he will never sit down to do an interview with these people. I think he looks at them as a joke. And I think he looks at other players that sit down and want to interview with them and talk to them and galvanize around them and all of these different things. I think he looks at those players as chumps and suckers. I truly believe so. He's like, y'all in debt, you need the bag that much. They're paying us in some cases $10, $20, $30 million a year. And you're talking about, well, I want to go talk to them because I want to enhance my brand. And if I enhance my brand, so what? You can make an additional $10 million a year. So what? So what? He's like, I don't need that money. I don't need my brand to be enhanced to the point where I need to sit down and talk to Stephen A. Smith, go on these different shows so people can see me. I'm going to put on a nice suit, put on my chain, and try to be out here peacocking just so I can get some praise and get some clout. And then the minute they're done with me, I'm going to be the same person that I was up here laughing and kikiing with them that they're going to be coming after. I'm going to be the same person. The same person. And Kawhi Leonard is like, I don't need that money. I don't need that extra $10 million. I don't need that extra $50 or $100 million over my lifetime. I'm already rich. I don't need it. And I think a lot of these athletes, these male athletes, need to wake the hell up. You are turning yourself into a donkey that they ride on top of. And you're only up there doing it just for money. You sit there, you entertain them, you go join them, I'm gonna talk to them because I want to enhance my brand and all. And you think they like you. They don't like you. They're using you. You think they would have you on TV if it didn't get any ratings? Hell no. But a lot of these athletes get up on there and they're smiling and they're so happy to be there. Oh, I'm here. I'm on ESPN. Look at me like this, and you're feeling good. And you're like, oh, they like me. They don't like you. If you didn't get any ratings, you wouldn't be there. How many great players have come to the NBA? Do you see them on TV anymore? No. But I think I've seen through this game, and I think it's quite sad, and I think it's quite alarming that they seem to be making a concerted effort to go after male black athletes. These are the people I'm focusing on this video. Male. I'm not interested in talking about the female aspect. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about this particular issue. Right? I think something about males, that they have to keep playing this game with them. They have to keep playing this game with them, and I think it's sad, and I think it's alarming. I think it's sad, and I think it's alarming. And a lot of these athletes, these black athletes, need to wake the hell up. Not every dollar is for you. Not every dollar. And I get the sense that some athletes, some male athletes, or some black men are so desperate for money that they will do any and every single thing as long as as long as they can make money. That's all it comes down to. If I got to go up there and act a fool, as long as I'm making my money, I don't care. You don't realize the joke is you're the joke. You're the punchline. You're up there laughing, and you don't realize you're the punchline. You're the punchline. Some dudes are so desperate for money that they will do anything. Anything. Stop giving these people the time of day. Look at Kawhi. Do you see Michael Jordan out there interviewing with people? Really? Do you see them? They don't do it. Learn from these guys. You're rich. You don't need every penny in this world. Not every dollar you need that you start making yourself look like an idiot and you feel like as if, these people love me. They don't love you. They don't care about you. One minute they'll be praising you. The next minute they'll tear you down. That person doesn't love you. So what's next? They're going to put a $2 million bag in a shark's mouth. You're going to put your hand inside to try to get that bag. Well, I got to get the money by any means necessary. What type of ignorant? By any means necessary, right? And this, you're just witnessing that. You're witnessing that mentality on a much higher scale. Dudes are already rich. Multi-generational wealth you have. And yet and still, you're out there peacocking, trying to get clout from these people that don't give a damn about you. And only a few have been able to figure that out. And that's why you rarely see them there. LeBron James is guilty of it, but he's just as much a victim of it. LeBron puts himself in a situation where this kind of things can happen to you. They're going to talk about you regardless because you're LeBron, but you don't have to give them the time of day. You don't have to sit down and talk to these people. Haven't you noticed the pattern? This guy's like this. One year, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. The next year, oh, LeBron is old. And when will it? Now he's back. Then it was Kawhi. Anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions. I know I probably went off for too long, but I think you guys kind of understand the gist that I'm getting. I think a lot of black males need to get out of this thing of feeling like as if every dollar is for you. You need to, it's not about how much money you earn. It's about how you earn your money. That's more important. That is more important. Everything is not about attention. You don't need to always need to be drawing attention to yourself. It's not about attention. It's not about how you look. It's about what you're doing. Because if you have on $100,000 worth of jewelry, $50,000 worth of jewelry, a Rolex, it don't mean nothing. There are people that have way more money than that. They don't wear it close to as much of that. It doesn't mean anything. But you got to stop putting yourself in a position where you can be used. And then later on, I wonder why am I being used? You the reason you're being used. Those are my thoughts and opinions on that. If some people agree with it, fantastic. If you disagree with it, that's your business. I really don't care. But I'm going to give you my honest take. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.